essential that we got it right because it means so much to so many people.
Congratulations on another great project. The Last of Us has such an intense fan base already dialed in. How important was it for you to really get it right and dive into this character and this complex story?
It was really important to me, but then you kind of realize that if you preoccupy yourself with the quote-unquote importance of getting something right or pleasing everybody, that might, have a counter effect at accomplishing the goal of doing a good job. And we had these amazing scripts by Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, who created the game. An inspired performance by Troy Baker in the original authorship of the role, which I personally needed to kind of help me put the puzzle pieces together. And I guess that's all to say that as nervous as I was, there were so many anchoring components that helped me at least feel like I was doing the work. And now I guess it's just up for the audience to decide.
I just freshly watched the first episode today, and I think it's going to have a whole set of new eyes on it. We have to ask about our home turf of Canada playing a secondary character to this long story. What was it like shooting in Canada, and how important was that for you as an actor to really be in and around this landscape?
I'd said this earlier, and I can understand why we ended up shooting the series in Calgary, throughout all of Alberta, really, because there's such a kind of powerful and dynamic physical landscape to Alberta. And we used, the real mountains and the real rivers, the real lakes, and prairies and snow and all of it. Yeah. And also built these incredible sets, and there was this very beautiful dedication that our crew had, that it did feel Canadian, like we were shooting for a year, and the dedication and the level of enthusiasm never wavered, ever. And it had to be there, and I feel like it was essential for the show working.
Well, listen, it's beautiful. I'm looking forward to seeing where the show takes us. Congratulations, you're phenomenal. You and Bella, it's just watching you guys, and Nico, all of it. It was so great. So congrats, and I'm looking forward for fans to see it.
Thank you so much.
Canada, shout out to Canada. We
Shout out to Canada. I love Canada. Take me back.
We have to talk about the backdrop of Canada and how Canada played like a very important role to the story. How was it being there, and how important was that for you as an actor to dive into these landscapes?
It was super cool. It was the first time I'd ever been outside of Europe, and then we shot there for a year, and Calgary was great. I really liked it. It was just like a nice chill vibe, and we had a great time. And the landscapes are beautiful, and the people are so wonderful. Yeah, we had a wonderful time.
Amazing. Well, I got to talk to you about working with Pedro. What was it like to build that rapport with him and work with him so closely and create this bond that you had to have, a very intimate bond?
Yeah, it was a journey for sure, and our relationship definitely grew as strong as that, and Ellie's did it. We had a really good time. We fell deeply in love, and we have such a we always seem to find each other on set. It's just such a constant. We had a lot of fun. We laughed far too much.
Far too much for an intense story, but you probably had to lighten up the load.
Yeah, laughter for sure was our survival mechanism. At the expense of tired, hungry crews as we were going into lunch break with our laughter. It was quite a problem, but we had fun, and we got there in the end. But yeah, we had a great time.
Amazing. And The Last of Us has a diehard fan base. So how important was it to get it right, to really dial in on these characters and this story?
It was essential that we got it right. A lot of that, thankfully, was in a way out of my hands. I had to trust Craig and Neil, and I trust them with my life, whether rightly or wrongly. They are such incredible storytellers and collaborators and creators, and it just felt very safe, under their protection, and to their deep love for the story and the characters. We felt very held throughout the whole thing, but it was essential that we got it right because it means so much to so many people.
I'm honestly I'm just so impressed by you always, but this role too, I think fans are going to connect, and the new fan bases like me, I didn't know the story before, and I think fans are gonna just absolutely soak this up. So congratulations. Have fun tonight, and I love the fit. It's
Thank you so much.
good,
Thanks.
dramatic all the way.
Right, thank
All
you so
the
much.
way.
Nice to see you.
Oh my goodness. You would not be able to tell it's raining outside.
Oh my god, the stress coming in here because of the rain was surreal.
I absolutely bet. You look stunning. This color is so good on you. We got to talk about the story. The story is already built-in fan base, you know? And so for you to step into this character, what was that like, knowing that you had to get it kind of right because people are looking at it?
It was daunting. I think kind of the expectations were high, and then I think, you know, the pressure that you put on yourself as an actor regardless is already sky high, and then pressure from people that love the game, love the character, rightly so. It was a lot to take on, but I think, you know, walking onto set every day, Craig, Neil, Pedro, everyone really made an effort to kind of not let that kind of intrude into the atmosphere that we created there. So I think actually filming was blissful and amazing, and then you kind of go home and you're like, oh my god, what am I doing? But filming itself was wonderful, and the pressure stayed away.
You just dive right into it. But Pedro, let's talk about him and building that relationship. I mean, what a special connection you had to have, and it's so beautifully told. What was it like working alongside him?
I mean, he is like he's such a wonderful person, truly. He is such a talented actor and just genuinely as a human being, just a joy to work with and to be around. And so filming with him, it was just so easy because I feel like that connection between both of us kind of was there quite quickly, like from the very initial conversations. We were like, oh my god, I love you. So yeah, it was a joy. He is everything you would expect him to be and more. He's wonderful.
And I have to ask about our home turf, Canada. How did that play a character in this show, and how did Canada treat you?
I mean, I loved it, genuinely. It's true, everyone is so nice. Like, you guys are really nice. so nice. It was wonderful. I mean, the weather, I was there, luckily, you know, I'm aware that they were there in some kind of colder climates. I was there when it was really hot. Everyone was kind of tanned and like bathing in the sun. It was amazing. Yeah, I loved it. Really, really loved it. It was wonderful.
I mean, I think everyone else is talking about how cold it is, but yeah, you got spared the coldness.
I got spared the cold completely. I was there, warm, sunshine. It was amazing.
Well, I'm glad that you got spared that, and congratulations on the show. I'm looking forward for fans to see this. I think they're going to absolutely love it. Let's talk about The Last of Us, this story and this dialed in and already fixed fan base from the game. How important was it to get it right?
I mean, it was immensely important to all of us. I think that Craig keeps saying it. This was a show made by fans for fans. So we were very particular with all the details. But beyond that, we wanted, of course, to let the story grow, let it go to corners of the Last of Us world that it hadn't previously visited, and I think we achieved that.
Working alongside Pedro and Bella, what was that like for you to experience that and see the bond build on set? I'm sure shooting out in Canada in the cold, you probably got to know each other all in a vast cold landscape. What was it like?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. You know, when you're dealing with those types of elements, you grasp onto whatever's close. And in this instance, it was this beautiful cast. And I got to witness Pedro and Nico develop their bond. And then, of course, I got to see Pedro and Bella have their very unique bond. Bella and I kind of bonded over music, and it was truly, every moment of it was truly something to be cherished. I think that Bella is a poet. I mean, she's a poet, she's an artist, and everything she does. It's her music, her acting, she's a poet. And Pedro's just, I mean, incredibly fun, incredibly talented. It was just, you know, let yourself go on the ride with the right people, and allowed myself to do that.
I mean, congratulations on the project. I think you're going to get so many new eyes on this whole story, but HBO is such a great place to land as well. So enjoy your night tonight. I know you got more people to talk to, and I love the outfit so much. It's so good.
Spring 23.
Oh my gosh, your outfit's amazing.
I mean, thank you, but look at you. Like, you're prepared for the weather. The gold earrings, it's giving.
Norm, you are just always the sweetest, and I mean, we're like, this carpet is people don't understand it doesn't rain like this in LA.
I mean, I just came from Turks and Caicos. I was on vacation, and it was like 85 degrees, and then I got here this morning, and I'm like, what is this?
This is not Turks and Caicos. We got to talk about The Last of Us because it's got such a dialed-in, diehard fan base already. So stepping into this world and doing it right, how important was that for you as an actor?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's incredibly important to take something that is already loved and to adapt it and put it on TV. I think you have a responsibility to do that project or that story, that book, that video game. You have that duty to do it justice, but you can have some leeway to have fun and add your own little twist. So I think that's what I tried to do with Riley, and just the whole show. I think Craig and the team did an amazing job at being as authentic as possible, and I think easily said because Craig, this is his favorite video game, so he was gonna make sure it was right. But I mean, I'm just grateful to be a part of this universe now.
And I feel like this story specifically is going to have a lot of new eyes on it, especially landing on HBO, which you are very familiar with. What is it about this collaboration that you're excited for fans to see, and having the home base of HBO behind it?
Yeah, I mean, it's everywhere, and people are going to see it. People are excited to see it, and I think the people who love the video game are just going to, it's heartbreaking, but it's beautiful, and I think they're going to get a sense of closure and peace, and I think it's just like a really good freaking show, so I'm excited.
It's a great way to say it. How was Canada, by the way?
It was cold, but I love Canada.
Tell me about this look.
It's Sebastian Ami and some Marnie boots. Yes, this is a local Los Angeles designer. Love it. I just absolutely love it. Yeah, looks great.
It's the crop, the crop and the coat.
Yes,
everything
yes,
is so
the
fly.
pants, yeah. Thank you.
I mean,
we got it right. Yeah.
Absolutely nailed it tonight. It's a rainy night in LA, which doesn't happen.
Yeah,
but
very rare.
We got to talk about The Last of Us because this is a diehard fan base.
Yes.
So how important was it for you and the cast to get it right?
It was very important. Just because, like what you said, it's such a loved game. So with the adaptation, we really wanted to be as honest and truthful to the game as possible, as we also find our own ways of interpreting these characters as well, right? It was such a beautiful process to not only have played the game, but then now to go to set and see all the sets and the attention to detail. It truly felt like we were living it in real life, and it was truly incredible.
And there's a very important role that Canada plays to this game as a backdrop, as a Canadian. What was it like to shoot in Canada, such an important story, and how did it play as a secondary character in some ways?
Yeah, well, I mean, we have so many amazing landscapes in Canada, so that's really a character in itself because the story it's so vast and they go across America, so we really get to see so many different environments and different exteriors, which is fantastic. And also me being a Canadian, to shoot this on Canadian soil was very, very special. It was very special for me.
You were probably more prepared than some of these LA actors with the cold temperatures.
Yeah, but I mean, I did live in LA for quite some time, so I might have got a little spoiled, but no, there were some days that it was extremely, extremely cold. But we made it happen, we pushed through, and I think it's because of the love that everyone had for the story that we're telling, for these characters. Even though the weather was brutal, we still showed up every day, and once they called action, we didn't even really notice that it was cold. We kind of just locked in and just really gave the truth to these characters in the story.
I can't wait for audiences to see this because I think it's going to touches a lot of different people, lovers of the game, lovers of the story, then also just like completely new eyes like myself who wasn't familiar. I was not familiar with it. Let's talk about Pedro and Bella.
Yes.
These two are this dynamic duo. What was it like watching them come to life as these characters?
It was amazing. I mean, the first day on set, they had already been on set and have already been bonding for quite some months. So it was amazing to step in and already sort of feel Joel and Ellie. Like they really kind of harnessed that, I don't know what word I'm trying to find, but there's like an essence, there's a bond that they've created that was so very special that you feel in the game that you also truly feel while working alongside them. So once again, it was such an honor to work with them, and also Pedro and it was just great. You know, it was really great to also watch their banter on and off set. Yeah, it was great. I think people are in for a real treat.
I'm so excited to see where your character comes in because I haven't even seen those episodes yet.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be watching it along with the fans. I only wanted to watch one just to get the gist, but truly, I'm looking forward to seeing what you bring to it. And congratulations.
Thank you so
We're
much.
rooting
I
for you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Canada's always home, you know.
Yes, absolutely. Canada is home.
So we got to start off with, you know, this story, The Last of Us, is such a coveted audience. Already has a locked-in fan base from the game. How important was it to get it right?
How important to get it right? Saying that it's right is, I think, subjective as far as artistry goes. Getting to the core of the story and the human struggle is something that I believe is the most beautiful part and why people are so connected to it and what people do when they are squeezed in the toughest situations in their lives. So getting it right, that is a matter of opinion, and I'll leave that up to the fans, but I'll tell you what, I was deeply moved by every frame that I saw, and there are pieces that feel directly lifted out of the game, verbatim visually and in the dialogue, but then there are such beautiful departures that serve the story in a deeper, more meaningful way that maybe wouldn't have been time with the extra gameplay in the game, that here we can lean into just story and lean into those characters and also take them off course, that you can't, the things that you can't do in a singular focused narrative, that you get to see a lot more of the world, which is great.
And also, this character's been with you for 10 years now.
Yeah.
You are one of the lucky ones to have seen it through on both sides.
Yeah.
What was one of the rewards as an actor to really be able to have such a unique process?
There's so many of my characters that I think I put in a capsule and I put away, almost archive it.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. And Marlene keeps having more and more life for me. And I think the fact that I aged into the character was a gift, that the timing worked out and was so kismet that I was able to rock with her year after year, incarnation after incarnation, and it's a woman that I feel does not shy away from her pain, but still carries on courageously for the greater good and to save those around her. And that's not, when there's no evidence of that kind of hope that you can get to another side, that takes a grit and a strength that is almost unconscionable. And so I'm honored to play her because I think she is a wonderful example, and I also think that the choices that she has to make within this story are enough to make people really think deeply about what matters, what really is the kernel, what, as you said, you were talking about what is right, and what is, that can be very subjective for people. And I think looking at this conundrum and looking at this situation, looking at this devastation through Marlene's lens is a good way to examine how you feel.
And we have to ask, you shot on our home turf in Canada.
Yeah.
How did our country treat you, and why was it the perfect backdrop to a story like this?
Gosh, yeah, Canada treated us so beautifully. It was cold, but also the stunning vistas, the variety of geography that we were given, the large skies, the tumbling topography. It was really, really beautiful. And that on top of it, the Canada crew, bomb. So bomb. They're so good. They're so kind, and they were so invested, and they held us when we were going to remote locations, when we were, in the middle of the forest at 3 a.m. and snowing sideways. They were with us, holding us, walking the camera backwards down the hill. All of that stuff. They were with us, and every bit of it. So the crew and their artistry and their care for us is a big character in the show as well.
I love that, and thank you so much, because obviously we're biased. We love our own country, but it's great to see. I'm looking forward to seeing more episodes. I've only seen one, so I'm looking forward to watching the landscape as well. You're phenomenal in it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on this project. I cannot imagine even starting to craft the idea of building this world. There's so many dynamic characters in the dynamic landscape, and the layers to the fan base too, and trying to impress them. How important was it for you and the team to make it right?
It was everything. I mean, I'm a fan too. I don't want my heart broken by a bad Last of Us adaptation. I know fans don't want their hearts broken, and Neil Druckmann really didn't want his heart broken. So we just put everything we had into it. I mean, we were obsessive about detail. We questioned everything. We explored everything. We tried to fill in every little corner. We used every inch of Alberta.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We enjoy Alberta, and how cold was it for you? Is it?
Wow. I grew up in New York,
Okay.
so I'm not a stranger to cold. And I did spend Christmas once in Quebec City, which was really cold. But Calgary, when it's really, it was, I think we got to minus 20, minus 30 Celsius.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I've never felt it. I mean, that was where I was like, Canada Goose, button it up. Yeah, so, but we really just, we gave it our all. We left it all out on the field, like the athletes say.
And I want to talk about Canada playing a landscape for this story. What was it about the backdrop that plays almost a secondary character to this entire story?
Well, we have an interesting challenge. We have to tell a story that goes from Boston all the way across the Great Plains to the Rocky Mountains, and then onward to Salt Lake City. And one of the things about Alberta is it's kind of got everything. It's got the plains, it's got the mountains, it's got cities, it's got an abandoned hospital, it's got all sorts. I mean, we found everything, and we shot everywhere. I mean, we were in Lethbridge, Fort Macleod, Waterton, Calgary, Olds, Okotoks, High River. I mean, I'm naming every place. Oh, Grand Prairie. Yeah, we were everywhere. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and it was really important that we are able to feel like we're really there.
Yeah.
And so that was, part of the challenge for our locations team and our art department to find these great places in Alberta and then make them feel American and apocalyptic.
Absolutely. Well, listen, there's so much more to talk about, but we appreciate you shooting in Canada. It looks phenomenal.
Thank you.
I've only seen one episode, so I'm looking forward to watching the rest with the audience. But congratulations, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Great to be here. Great celebrating such an incredible release. The Last of Us has a diehard fan following.
Indeed.
How important was it to get it right?
Paramount. I mean, we had to.
Yeah.
Not only because we owe it to the fans, but also I think we have an obligation and a loyalty to the story.
Yeah.
This is one of the best stories ever told. So we didn't want to half-ass it. We didn't want to come in and come under the radar. And that starts with Neil and Craig. You have two of the greatest minds in Hollywood, in my opinion, working on this. You have someone who is at the foundation of the building of this and the creation of these characters in the story. Then you have Craig Mazin, who is a seasoned, he would hate that I call him that, but a seasoned veteran and an incredible showrunner, incredible writer.
Yeah.
And this is the person that is partnering with him, and he's a fan of the game. That's who you want in charge.
Now, you are one of the lucky ones who's seen this all the way through, from the game to the show. Are fans going to be happy, and how do you transition your thought? Like, do you just dive back into your character? How does that work?
I think that what people are going to want to, when they go into watching this, understand that we've already told this story. So now we have the opportunity to tell the story, the same story, in a different way.
Right.
So there will be changes. We've already talked about some of those changes, but at the end of the day, this is deeply connected to the soul and the spirit of this game. So if they love the game, they're going to love the show.
And I got to talk about our home turf. You shot on our home turf in Canada. How did Canada treat you, and why was it the perfect backdrop for this story?
Well, you guys have made up temperatures when it comes to weather.
We do.
Like, it's just made up. It's minus 30,000, whatever. I could not believe how cold it got. And we had an incredible wardrobe department that took very, very good care of us. We had like thermals that were heating us up and everything. But there's one spot where we're shooting a pretty vicious scene, but all of us were like, my God, it is beautiful out here, isn't it? So it treated us well. It was a wonderful home for us to shoot this thing, and hopefully we get a chance to go back.
And it represents, I mean, obviously the game is shot in a post-apocalyptic trek across America. If you were to go and embark on a trek like that, what would that look like, and who would you take with you?
Oh, it would be very short. I would not survive. Not look at me. Look at this. People are like, what would happen if you turned into a clicker? I was like, oh, I would have been dead long ago. Long ago. The night it happened, I'd be like, bye-bye.
I'm out. Peace out. Later. Yeah.
And I would probably want to bring someone like Pedro Pascal with me because that man can fight.
And he's perfect in this role too, watching him at the helm of this.
He truly is. I mean, and this is not marketing beats. He is 100% perfect in this role.
Amazing. Well, congratulations. I only saw one episode because I want to watch the rest with the audience, but congratulations, and I'm looking forward to seeing where these characters go. So The Last of Us, it's got a locked-in fan base, and why was it so important for you and the team to get it right?
I think that we took such care in the making of the games. And everybody, it's funny, people are like, well, Tommy this, Tommy that. And Tommy was a great role. And I'm very proud of the work that I did in that part. But after I performed it, it went into the hands of hundreds of people at Naughty Dog. Hundreds of developers and artists who took my performance and made it part of the game.
Right.
And so on the stage, like the sound stage, when we're making a game, I want to honor the hundreds of hours that are going to come after what I've done, and the hundreds of hours that have come before. And so when the idea of it becoming a show became real, I was worried. For a minute, it was going to be a movie, and it would not have been a great movie because I saw that script. And so when I found out that Craig was involved, I knew that it was going to be something special. And then the care, the hundreds of hours of put into building the sets and to building the world and to the everything that everybody behind the scenes did was just mind-blowing.
I heard you say earlier that this was made by fans, for fans. Yeah. I got to ask about your backdrop, Canada. That's our home turf. Yeah. So how did the country play into that? And how did Canada take a role of that? I know it's supposed to be America, but how did that help you as an actor dive into your character?
Calgary was amazing. So when you're shooting outside and it's negative 15 degrees and it makes it very easy not to have to act like you are in a state. It was great. The crews were amazing. Everybody came up, you wander around set and people would come up and be like, I know you were Tommy in the game. I'm a huge fan of the game. I committed to do this for a year of my life because of the game.
Wow.
And that was 2 out of every 3 people on the set. And so when they attack it with that kind of love and passion, it just is there in every frame that got captured.
You already were familiar with the territory, familiar with the game.
Yeah.
And
sure.
Diving into a story like this, how is that for you as an actor, like a full circle moment in some ways?
It was full circle in many ways, and also felt like an observer because I wasn't playing the same part.
Right.
So to be there and sort of see it all from a new perspective, a new point of view, and bring as much as I could to the part that would separate him from the role I played in the game was a great experience. It was lovely.
And a story like this, it's so complex. The characters are so dynamic. And there's almost like you have to watch it a few times to get every little piece of information.
Yeah.
For you, watching it back, have you seen any of it?
I haven't. I've seen just bits and pieces.
Oh, really? Oh, that's even more exciting. Okay.
Yeah, I've been in Georgia, so I can't pop in and catch a couple episodes.
Then that's even better. You know what? Yeah. We're gonna leave it at that, and then you can just take it where it is. Pedro and Bella, let's just talk about them as this dynamic duo in the front of this storyline. What was it like working with them and seeing their characters come to life?
Well, first off, they're both incredibly lovely human beings, which is where you want to start. And then beyond that, they're committed to their craft at the highest level. Bella is amazing. She's 19. She's like got the soul of, a 50-year-old person. And the talent, and both of them leapt off the screen in Game of Thrones. I mean, I remember seeing his performance and be like, damn, that dude is incredible. And then she came on the stage and blew away like some heavyweight actors. Like, she owned everything. And so I knew when they cast the two of them that they got good actors for the parts. And then what they do with those roles to bring them alive is everything that I could possibly hope for.
Like the video? Then hit the button, or better yet, drop us a comment. Then check out our latest videos here. And don't forget to subscribe by hitting the button here for more celebrity interviews and entertainment news.